What up, what up? Welcome into the Sports Rambles. Today we're locking in on an hour-long podcast. Maybe it's a little less, maybe it's a little more. But it's like that podcast kind of vibe. It's not really going to be much of a podcast. I'm not sure if it's going to be uploaded anywhere else except this wonderful YouTube channel so you can all see my beautiful face. But that's what we're going to do. I just want to talk sports. I just want to talk about sports. That's all. That's all. And I just want a place to do it. And so it's going to be unfiltered, unconventional, no script really, just a few bullet points of, what topics I want to hit on. But I'm just rambling. Hence the title. We are just rambling about sports. Whatever I feel like talking about that week, that's what we're going to be doing each and every Saturday. So tune in, feel free, hit the play button, put me in your pocket, put the AirPods in, whatever you got to do while you're working outside or whatever. If you want to talk sports, this is the place to be. You want to have a conversation. So anything I have, please mention something in the comments. Let's start the conversation. I'm here for it. I want to be in the comments. If you comment, I promise to respond to it. Absolutely. I promise. With that being said, we got some football to talk about. It is NFL playoffs week 2, so the divisional round is starting today at 2 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, 2:30, wherever you may be. Hours are going to adjust, right? We have the Houston Texans, the underdog, going up against the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are entering this game as a 9.5-point favorite. Lamar Jackson, probably the future MVP of the year, right? The leading MVP candidate versus C.J. Stroud, the young rookie, with Will Anderson in the defense, also a rookie, possibly the offensive and defensive rookies of the year. Who expected Houston to be here? And I know not many of you, because last year after the draft, it was predicted that the Arizona Cardinals would have the number 1 and the number 2 pick because of their trade with the Texans that gave them Will Anderson. I wish that were the case, but no. Now this Texans pick is becoming less and less valuable each and every week. But I'm not super mad about it because I love C.J. Stroud. I love this Texans team. They're fun to watch, man. D'Amico Ryans is putting on a coaching clinic for a first-year coach. Definitely the newcomer of the year. Definitely. And if you want to call him coach of the year, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at all. I think that'd be a great selection. This man has turned the team who was absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. The number 2 overall pick made them a playoff team. And not only a playoff team, they hosted a playoff game and won that playoff game in dominating fashion. Dominating fashion. Okay, that is no easy task. That is not something that you see every day. But they've done it. They've done it. The Cleveland Browns had no answers for C.J. Stroud. They had no answers for figuring out D'Amico Ryans' defense, which is really what D'Amico's known for, right? Whether as a player or whether as a defensive coordinator for the Niners the past few years. I mean, this team they're putting on a show, and I don't really want it to end today. On the other side of the ball, we got none other than Lamar Jackson, right? We've got Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, OBJ. We've got that number 1 defense led by Roquan Smith, Geno Stone. Come on, man. This team is good. This team is so good. Patrick Queen is another, should have been a Pro Bowler. Biggest snub of the year, I think. Come on now. This team is just so good. Kyle Hamilton. Oh my goodness. Their front 7 has been amazing, and in the back half hasn't been too bad either. And that defense really might give C.J. Stroud some fits. I don't know. What do you think? Is C.J. ready for this kind of defense? Not many quarterbacks are. Brock Purdy, Tua. Kansas City had a tough go. This Baltimore Ravens defense is legit. It's a very similar defense to the 2000 Ravens that won the championship And also very similar to the 2015 Ravens that won the championship, won the Super Bowl. Ray Lewis. Maybe there's no Ray Lewis, but Roquan Smith sure looks like a dang Ray Lewis to me. And that's scary. That is scary. Kyle Hamilton playing like that read to me. Okay? We've got rushers that remind me of T Swizzle. Alright, sheesh. And that's what Baltimore has always been based off of, right? Whenever they've been a good team, they've had a good defense. A good defense. The best defense by far, and that's again what they have this year. And now, instead of a Joe Flacco, or instead of what was his name? Oh my goodness. You know who I'm talking about. Trent Dilfer. Instead of Trent Dilfer and instead of Joe Flacco, you have Lamar Jackson. Quite possibly going to be a 2-time MVP. That's insane. When you pair a defense like that with an offense that is capable, I know they have their issues. I know they've struggled catching the ball at times. I know the receivers had early issues in the season. And I have talked about it in some of my previous videos. I think those issues could show up again today. Playoff jitters are a real thing, man. Especially for a young receiving core that had issues, that was nervous at the beginning of the season. They were still trying to figure themselves out. Now, obviously, they have that chemistry built up, which is going to be super helpful. These guys have a few NFL games under their belt, which is super helpful. But it's now a playoff atmosphere. It does super help that they are the home team, right? If you're going into Texas, into Houston, that could be a real issue. But I don't think it's going to be too bad. So I think that... I don't know. I guess I don't want to give my final prediction quite yet. Stay tuned. Let's move on to the other game today, which is happening in the NFC. On the other side of the nation. On the other coast. In San Francisco, California. Or Santa Clara, or wherever the freak it actually is. At Levi Stadium. The Packers are going to war with the San Francisco 49ers. And these two teams have been great to watch. All season long, and especially over the years in their respective playoff battles. When they go head-to-head, it is always fun. There's always seems to be some crazy storyline that comes out. Whether it was the field goal the last time they played in the playoffs. It was a game-winning field goal by the Niners. The time before that, Raheem Mostert absolutely dominated them with like 200 and something rushing yards. He went crazy. Okay, the Packers couldn't stop the run. What else? A few years ago, Colin Kaepernick had a quarterback rushing record against the Packers in what should have been an easy Packers win. Okay, there was a lot of times where the Packers and Niners went to war. Terrell Owens, the catch, part 2. I mean, come on. If you want to watch some great playoff highlights, you watch Niners and Packers, okay? That is a good game. But, you know me, I'm going to be repping my Packers today. Wrong side. There we are. We got to be repping the Packers today. And I think the Packers absolutely have a chance. Now, is it an amazing chance? No. Because look at that defense. And again, they have a young quarterback. Yeah, young quarterback played really well against the Cowboys defense, which is nothing to scoff at either, but it's not quite the Niners. Okay, the front seven of the Niners is further superior than the Cowboys front seven. And so it's going to be an interesting game. We'll see what happens. We'll see if Christian Watson's fully healthy. We'll see if Aaron Jones can get the run game going as much as he did against the Cowboys last week. But I think what it really boils down to, because I absolutely think the Packers can win this football game. And I am going to spoil this one. I don't think they will. I think the Niners are going to win this game, and I think they'll probably win it pretty easily. But the Packers definitely could win this game. And the difference that has to be made is how many turnovers can they force Brock Purdy into. And I think if it's an early one and then one at the beginning of the second half and maybe one towards the end, 2 to 3, I think they really are going to need 2 to 3 turnovers. But in the Niners' 3-game losing streak near the beginning of the season, Brock Purdy was turning the ball over 2 to 3 times a game. That's what led to their loss. Of course, when they played the Ravens, they were forced into 3 turnovers. Now, the Packers' defense isn't no Ravens' defense that we just talked about. By far. It's not even close. But it's still a very, very good defense. Over the past week or two. Past couple weeks. They've looked really good. Again, probably not even a top 10 defense in the league. No, I don't even know what the exact standings were to end the season. But they've been really good as of late. They forced Dak Prescott into a couple last week, and that was really what sealed the game. Sealed the game in the second quarter, okay? Pick 6 included. Now, if we can see that again, then absolutely the Packers have a shot. Especially if Aaron Jones can get running the football well. Another advantage the Packers have is that they have just an array of wide receivers. There's no one guy where if you shut down, that Jordan Love's in shambles. No. There is no Greg Jennings, Donald Driver, Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams. Okay, there's no guy like that on the Packers. There's Christian Watson, there's Romeo Doubs, there's Jaden Reed, there's Dontavian Wicks, there's Heath. There's so many receivers who are basically on the same level. All first and second year guys that are just great. All of them are just, none of them are great, I would say, but a lot of them are very respectable wide receivers. So they have weapons. They have a ton of options. Luke Musgrave played great coming back from injury. Okay, they still have Tucker Kraft who can make a catch and two. All right, Aaron Jones out of the backfield is a decent receiving back. All right, we'll see how healthy this team is. But man, I think it's a team to watch out for. I think the Packers and the Texans are both going to give these higher seeds, these 1 seeds who had bye weeks last week, who are at home, some troubles. We'll see. We'll see. Again, I really think it was going to boil down to the turnover game, and I think the Packers need to win that turnover differential by at least 2 to win this game. We'll see. We'll see. Again, you never know with Brock Purdy. If he can have an absolute masterclass or he can have an absolute disastrous game. And the disastrous game doesn't come too often, but if it does come here in the playoffs, it could really cause some issues. We look no further than the Ravens, look no farther than who else did they lose to? They lose to it wasn't the Jets, the Browns. I know they lost to at one point. I think that's the first one they lost, right? If the Niners lose the turnover battle, they often lose. Okay, and so I think that's going to be the case here today. That's all I'm saying. But on the Niners' point, right, they have a great, great defense. They have the number 2 defense, I would say. They have Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Tre'Davious Ward. They have a great safety play over the top. They have the front 7 that is just absolutely, chaotic for opposing offenses. It's tough to score on that team. Jordan Love is going to have his issues. Don't get me wrong. That Packers offensive line is going to struggle. And Jordan Love is going to have to be mobile today. Can he make those throws on the run? He absolutely can. But will he today? It's a lot harder when there's also good defensive back play as well. And that could be a real issue for Jordan Love. If we talk about that turnover battle, they have to force Brock Purdy into these turnovers. And that's really hard to do. The first thing they're going to have to do is stop the run game and Christian McCaffrey to force Brock Purdy to throw the football. To force him to make tough decisions. And even when that comes, there's Deebo Samuel, there's Brandon Ayuk, there's George Kittle. These are great, great options that are very reliable. That can make plays. That can stop interceptions. That can get wide the freak open. So Brock Purdy doesn't have to force the ball. Alright, Brock doesn't have that needle-threading accuracy. And he doesn't, but he's typically a smart quarterback. And when you give him range, he'll be fine. When you give him a space to throw the ball, if it's a decently big, like a yard or 2 of separation, he'll be okay. He'll be okay. So what has to happen is up front, the Packers have to stop the run game. of Christian McCaffrey, of Elijah Mitchell. All right, that cannot be explosive. You have to stop the slants by Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle. Those underneath crossers, they're killer in Kyle Shanahan's offense. They work like a charm, but man, they have to be stopped. They have to be stopped. If you can't stop the short game, no way are you going to force turnovers. Because if they can get their short game to go, their playmakers are so good in open field that those 2 to 3 yard passes turn into 10 to 15 yard gains. That just can't happen. And I'm afraid that's exactly what's going to happen. Packers aren't the best of tacklers. They can play some good defenses, especially now when you think about it. We got to think about the health of the Packers defense. Jair Alexander was a questionable going into the Cowboys game, and then he injured himself in the Cowboys game. Now I think he's going today, but you still when you get hurt like that and off re-aggravating an injury, and it's only 6 days later, I mean, it's going to play a factor. Devondre Campbell, is he going to be a full go? I don't know. We need some of the young guys to step up. We got to see Ballantyne play great today. We've got to see Jack Campbell force some issues. Rashawn Gary has to get home. They have to win some of these battles on the line to really put pressure on Brock Purdy. I would like to see the Packers take the ball to start the game and go score the ball. They need to score the first 2 possessions. I really think that. I really do believe that. You can't get behind the 8 ball against the 49ers. They're too good at running the football. They're too good on defense to prevent the big plays. They're too good at getting home to make sure that you don't even have time for the big plays. They're too good when they're ahead. You can't let them get ahead. Packers have to start early. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm going to take the Niners, who are a 10-point favorite tonight. It is a late-time game, and it's going to be exciting. I'm so pumped for this one. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It always is. Like I said, it always is with the Packers and Niners. You never know what's going to happen. Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading to Detroit to face the Lions, who are a favorite in their first ever playoff game. This is their first ever playoff game being favorited. Yeah, let's go with that. They're a 6-point favorite, and I can't blame them. We can see why. Now, I think this is going to be a close battle, right? We saw the Buccaneers handle business against the Eagles, nearly blowing them out. Okay, playing really good defense, forcing the turnovers by Jalen Hurts. Got open. Their defense, or their offense, was able to force the Eagles' defense into mistakes, whether it be missed tackles, blown coverages, you name it. And Mike Evans didn't even go crazy. Chris Godwin didn't even go crazy. Okay, it was those other guys who stepped up. Palmer made some plays. He had that long touchdown. Okay, this team is a very, very good team when they wake up pissed off or when they wake up feeling dangerous. If you know, you know. If Baker Mayfield wakes up feeling dangerous, Lions could be in some trouble. The Lions only handled the Rams by 1 singular point. Okay, I know it was an emotional game. I know it was Matt Stafford coming home. And Matt Stafford played decent. Okay, but it wasn't a dominating win. It wasn't. It wasn't the most pretty of wins. They didn't score the football at the end of the game when they should have. Okay, they couldn't put them away. If they don't put the Buccaneers away, the Buccaneers will make plays. Baker Mayfield has shown that time and time again. And I'm excited. The more the pressure on the game, the better Baker Mayfield performs typically. I'm serious. Go watch it. Back to his first NFL start. It was a Thursday night football game, and the Browns were struggling. Major struggling. Thursday night, prime time. Baker Mayfield gets a start and gets a win. First career game. Then he wins the games that were necessary to get that team to the playoffs for the first time in a long time. Okay, and they didn't get back to the playoffs until this year. Yeah, that's Baker Mayfield. He'll win the games he needs to win. To a certain extent, right? He's never gone all the way. But this Buccaneers team has that fight, has that tenacity, has that intensity, has that ability to perform under pressure against a decent defense in the Lions because they did it against the Eagles. And they made it look easy against the Eagles. The Lions cannot have the same struggles they had against the Rams and still expect to win this game. Though I think the Rams are typically a better team than the Buccaneers, but they didn't play like it. All right, too many mistakes were made. The Buccaneers played a nearly perfect game. They just played great. And if that happens again, then we're in trouble. But we've seen the Buccaneers struggle, especially towards the end of the season. Look no further than the last game of the season when they barely beat Carolina. They beat them by 9. 3 field goals to win the NFC South. They had to win that game. And they only put up 3 field goals. Thankfully, their defense pitched a shutout. Their defense has been playing amazing as of late. Amazing. And it's been cool to see. All right, Todd Bowles knows what he's doing. He is one of the best defensive minds this game has seen in a while. Put him up there with Vic Fangio. Throw him up there with D'Amico Ryans. Throw him up there with some of the greats that have engineered John Harbaugh's defenses over the years. Okay? This is a great team. A very good defense. A quarterback that knows how to get the job done. And a team that always has fun. Now the Lions. They're the home team. They're favored. It seems like I'm talking down on them, but I still think the Lions are going to win this football game. They're going to rally. They have the magic in them. They have the home crowd advantage, and those Detroit fans are passionate. They get loud. They're excited about this playoff run. Really, the best chance they've had to make the NFC Championship game in a very, very long time. At least 30 years. I don't know what the NFL looked like 30 years ago, but it's fun. It is fun. And I'm excited to see what they can do. Jared Goff, he has to play a little bit better, or play a little bit sharper. I'd like to see that run game get a little bit going a little bit more. I'm excited to see Amon-Ra have himself a day. Okay, these things have to happen. And nobody's going to get this team more ready than Dan Campbell. You best believe. And I think that's part of what was the issue in Detroit last week, is there was so much going on. There was so many emotions. There were so many spectacles. There was Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders, Eminem. All these Detroit natives were there. It had to be a lot of pressure. For this team to go into the playoffs and not win a game would have been very, very sad. They would have felt like they're letting down the whole squad, right? The whole town, the whole city of Detroit, the whole state of Michigan. Even though especially with Michigan just winning the national championship, okay, they don't want to be the letdown. The Lions can absolutely do this. Absolutely. And I think they got the weapons to do it. Their defense has played great as of late. Aiden Hutchinson has to get to the quarterback. They have to get to Baker Mayfield. They have to force some issues. They have to get some turnovers themselves. I think that's going to be another big key in this NFC matchup as well. I am going to take... I'm going to save that for later too. I'll come back and redo all my predictions after we talk about this last game, which is always, always fun. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs going against myself, Josh Allen. I don't know why y'all think I look like Josh Allen. I can kind of see it. But Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Stephon Diggs and company. James Cook. I mean, come on. This offense has to put up points. That's what it's going to boil down to. Usually these Kansas City Buffalo Bills games as of late have been shootouts. And I expect nothing different. Except this time the defenses are a lot better. Both defenses are really, really good. And we're in the divisional playoffs. I've said every defense is good because it's true. Defense gets you this far. And we have to see which defense is going to make the most turnovers. I think that's the difference. which receivers are going to make the most plays. And if you're taking my vote, it's going to be the Buffalo Bills. All right. This season, the Bills have proved to be a better receiving core. They've proved to be a better offense. Even though they've had to fire their offensive coordinator, they've just done better. Okay, they have a more sure-handed team. And this game being in Buffalo, I really, really like the Bills' odds here. But come on now. Let's not count out Patrick Mahomes. I will never do that. I will never count out Patrick Mahomes. That's like counting out Tom Brady at this point. Okay? Patrick Mahomes still has Travis Kelce. Though Travis Kelce is having a down year, it's still a very good year for a tight end. Maybe it's not the number one season this year, but it's still a good season. He has a lot of drops this year, which is a problem, including 3 last week. But it was freaking cold last week. And it's going to be cold again tomorrow in Buffalo. But it won't hopefully be so bad. It definitely won't be so bad as it was in Kansas City the week before. But again, this team has to get the run game going. I think both teams have to establish the run early to give their receivers easier opportunities to get downfield, to make the catch, to make the play, and really let these offenses get going. And again, that's where I'm going to give another edge to the Buffalo Bills, is to establish the run game. They have James Cook and Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes can scramble, don't get me wrong. But if I want a running quarterback out of these two, give me Josh Allen 10 out of 10 times. I still think Josh Allen is the second best running quarterback left in these playoffs, only behind Lamar Jackson. I know Jordan Love can scramble. I know C.J. Stroud can scramble. I know Baker Mayfield can get out when he needs to do. Patrick Mahomes is probably third, though. But Josh Allen, we saw it last week. And that's what I love about this new offense that the Bills have been running. Interim OC that took over, Joe Brady, has allowed Josh Allen to be himself a little bit more, to not force the football, to run the football. Maybe he should slide a little bit, but he's a big body. He can take some hits. All right, he can make some plays. He can get some extra yards. Josh Allen has done really well with that. So the Chiefs need Isaiah Pacheco to get the run going early, open up the passing game a little bit. They need Travis Kelce to be sure-handed if nobody else. And they really need to let Patrick Mahomes do Patrick Mahomes things. And I think he absolutely will. Again, these defenses are much improved. The Chiefs having one of the top defenses, probably their best defense in a long time. Going up against a solid Bills team, right? This is going to be a fun game to watch. A lot of games that are going to be down to the wire this week. You can't. I just don't even know what to say that hasn't already been said about Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. We've seen this almost every single year at this point. Okay, it seems like they match up somewhere along the way. I know they didn't last year, unfortunately. We had the Bengals going to Kansas City, but you know what? It was cool. It was cool. And now this time, we're going to see Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, like for the third, fourth time. They played a couple weeks ago, and of course that was, infamous for Kadarius Toney's offside penalty after Travis Kelce made that sick lateral to Kadarius Toney for the touchdown with only a minute and a half left to go in the game. And unfortunately for the Chiefs, it was called back because of that offsides. Patrick Mahomes went crazy. Angie Reid went off on the refs. It was nuts. It was nuts. It was a close game. Maybe that call wins the game for the Chiefs. Maybe it doesn't because, again, there was still a minute and a half for Buffalo to go score a field goal. Okay? But, I don't know. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. This time it's in Buffalo, right? It's not in Kansas City. So that's a huge plus. Bills Mafia goes crazy. All right, now I'm not saying that's guaranteeing the win for the Bills, but it's looking, the Chiefs offense just has to step up. They just have to be better. They have to look like they did at the end of the Dolphins game, not what they looked at the beginning of the game. The Chiefs have struggled with catching the football and getting the ball in the end zone all season long. And I think that's probably going to be their downfall on Sunday. So I'm going to be taking the Buffalo Bills to advance to the AFC Championship game. And now let's go to the Texans-Ravens. to see who else is going to play these Buffalo Bills in the conference championship. Oh, man, I really do want to take the Texans. I really don't want their run to be over. But I think the Ravens are just a little much. I think the Ravens are going to be a little bit much for these young boys. What a year it's been for the Houston Texans. And again, I hope I'm wrong, but I am going to take the Baltimore Ravens to win this game. Lamar Jackson getting another playoff win to really kind of boost himself. Now, NFC, I already said I'm going to take the Niners over the Packers, though I do think it's going to be the more I think about it, I think it is going to be a close game. I really do hope the Packers can win the turnover battles, and I really do hope the Packers can establish themselves early by scoring on the first 2 drives and stopping the run early. But I just can't count on it. So you gave me the Niners. It's going to be a fun one. All these games are going to be fun. I think they're going to... We had some pretty bad games last week. A lot of blowouts. Okay, nothing that was super fun, except the which game was close? The Rams Lions. That was a very close game. Other than that, a lot of them were pretty far out there, pretty big blowouts. But this time around, I expect all 4 of these games to be close. The only one I can see getting out of hand, the only 2 I can see getting out of hand, are the Texans Ravens and Packers Niners. But I don't think so. And I think the Packers have a worse chance at getting blown out. A better chance at getting blown out. Hopefully you know what I mean. But let's go to the Niners from the NFC. And they're going to play the Detroit Lions. I still think the Lions are going to get it done. Again, at home. A little less emotion on the line. Hopefully they can get their guys going. But Jared Goff has to read this defense. Again, if they lose the turnover battle, it's over. It's over. I'm going to take the Bucs. But I don't think they will. I think I'm going to put my faith in Jared Goff on this one. I'm going to put my faith in Dan Campbell. Give me the Lions to beat the Buccaneers. So my matchups would be Lions going to the Niners to play for the NFC Championship, and the Ravens hosting the Buffalo Bills. I don't know. Going to be a lot of fun. And out of that, off rip right now, what I'm feeling, I would say Bills Niners for the Super Bowl. But I don't know. We'll talk about that probably next week. But for this week, man, I'm excited. It's going to be some great football this weekend. Let me know what you think. What are your predictions? What are the keys to the game for you in your mind? Let me know. Let's talk about it. That's what the comments section is for. Use it, people. Use it. And while you're down there, hit that big red subscribe button. I appreciate you. Especially if you watched this far already. Thank you. But let's switch gears a little bit. I really do want to throw in some NBA here, and I don't know if I will. Maybe real quick. Nuggets Celtics last night, a game that was a potential finals matchup, and man, it was hard to watch at the end. I'm just not a very big Denver fan. I don't know why. I just don't like watching. Or no, I like watching the Nuggets. I just don't like seeing them win. I don't know what it is, but they deserve that win because what's their name? The Celtics blew it. They absolutely blew it. They had a lead going in, and obviously it was very close, back and forth this whole time. But they had a lead at the end. They let a score happen. I can't even remember exactly who got it. Got the bucket down low for the Lion, or for the... Wow, I'm thinking football too much right now. For the Nuggets. And then they had 2 chances. Or Jaylen Brown. Okay, yeah. Let's start there. We're at the end of the game. All right? Right? I think the Celtics are down 3. Jaylen Brown goes to the rack, gets fouled, doesn't finish. Okay, that's fine. 2 free throws. And there's still like 45, 50 seconds left in this game. Plenty of time, right? Missed them both. But Kristaps Porzingis flies in for the rebound, catches it, throws it out to JB at the 3-point line. Short. Oh, no worries. Another rebound. Jaylen Brown has only missed 4 shots in the past 30 seconds. Another rebound. Throw it out to Derek White. Derek White, the potential all-star, left it short. Whatever. All right, they get a stop down low. Make it a 1-point game with 18 seconds left? 18 seconds left? The Celtics off. Okay, yeah, what was that? The Aaron Gordon free throw? That lane violation? Are you kidding me? Because Jokic went early. He did like a little stunt like a linebacker might do in football, or a little jump that a defensive line makes the offensive line get a false start. Like, that's horrible. That's horrible. Because now we fix that in the NFL where we call that on the defense if they cross the neutral zone, which Jokic crossed the line. And so now we have 2 Celtics collapsing on Jokic. They get a line violation. They review it, and they say, no, it's a jump ball, which I thought was stupid as is. Because especially, it should have been Celtics basketball at the end of the court. But now they say jump ball, and if they get a jump ball, that's worse than him actually hitting the free throw, because now we have to foul and give them 2 more free throws. Thankfully, Kristaps Porzingis wins that jump ball, which we should probably expect him to beat Jokic 10 out of 10 times, considering the height difference and the athletic ability. Yeah. But, that being said, they win the tip. 18 seconds. They get the ball out of bounds. Joe Mazzulla has 2 opportunities to draw up a play to get a bucket. It doesn't even have to be a 3-pointer. Just to get a bucket. And they fail. They throw it in. They run around for 14 seconds. Nothing is open, so Joe calls another timeout. Great. Still doesn't call a play. They inbound the ball to Jason Tatum down in the elbow-ish area. And who does he have on him? He has someone smaller. I can't remember who it was exactly. But Jason, and then he puts up some dumb crap that doesn't even hit the rim. Joe Mazzulla has to call a play that is going to get a bucket. You're in the NBA with an elite scorer in Jason Tatum. Get him open. Get him an open look. Anywhere on the court. So I don't think the Celtics are going to win the championship, is what I'm saying. After a loss to the Nuggets, after a loss to the Thunder, I just don't think they're going to win it. I really don't. The Bucks are still my favorite to come out of the East. But it was still a good game nonetheless. And I'm excited to see what happens in the NBA. We're seeing some of these top contenders start playing each other more often, and that's really fun. These games are elite. But there's still a lot of concerns, still a lot to go. The Thunder lost 2 in a row to both LA teams. They didn't look great in their win against the Jazz. Shea still, he scored 31, but they're not as efficient as he normally is. I think something's off with Shea. The Lakers have been cold as of late, but outside of they won a 2-game streak, beating the Thunder and beating somebody else decent. I can't remember who. Was it Clippers? No. I don't remember. But then they lost again last night to the Nets by quite a bit. So, yeah. There's still a lot to sort itself out in the NBA. And I'm excited to see it. But I want to get back to the football side of things for the last 20 minutes or so. Just because I want this to be mostly football. I wanted to throw in a little NBA because I do want to talk more NBA on this channel. I really do. But it's playoff football time, okay? We got to focus in on the playoffs. We got to focus in on the NFL. And so that's what we're going to do. We already talked about the playoffs, though. We're going to talk about something important to all the other teams who are no longer in the playoffs. And that's the NFL draft, all right? It was announced this week that Caleb Williams is officially entering the draft. Okay, now it's official. The draft class is official. There's no more entering the draft. You had to put your name in already. So guys like Shedeur Sanders, they're staying another year. Quinn Ewers, which he announced, staying another year. Cam Ward, staying another year. All right? But now, we know who's in. We've got Caleb Williams. We got Drake May. We've got Jaden Daniels. We've got Bo Nix. We've got Michael Penix. We've got some great options at quarterback. We've got Marvin Harrison Jr. We've got a lot of great offensive linemen going into this draft as well. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And now let's talk about some of these things that could potentially happen, because now that Caleb Williams is in the NFL draft, we have to see what is that going to look like, right? What should the Chicago Bears especially, what is their next move? What do they do? Well, I'm not sure. What I would do if I were the Chicago Bears, which I should be, that's besides the point, is I'm doing exactly what they did last year. I'm trading that bad boy, getting another pick for this year, getting another pick for next year, and getting a decent player. All right? Caleb Williams is worth a bag. Everybody thinks he's one of the best prospects in the last, since at least Trevor Lawrence. And we'll see how that goes. I'm not sold on that. But with that in mind, we got to think about some of these teams who are a little quarterback hungry, who are a little quarterback desperate, right? So we've got a lot of options, including the next two picks, right? Because we have the Washington Commanders and the New England Patriots, who obviously need a quarterback. Both of them. And I think Gerard Mayo, the new head coach of the New England Patriots, has already kind of said that. We're going to take the best player at the best position, right? That's a quarterback. So they're going to be taking a quarterback at the 3 spot. I don't know if the Commanders are feeling quarterback. I don't know what they think about Sam Howell. Honestly, I'm a big fan of Sam Howell. I think you just need to get him an offensive line and maybe a defense. That could help. Because Sam Howell was throwing for like 300 yards a game. But let's not talk about that, I guess. Every NFL mock draft by the experts has said the Commanders are taking a quarterback here. And who am I to judge? But I think this North Carolina quarterback is just fine. They don't need another one. But what do I know? If I'm the Commanders, I'm also trading the pick. But unpopular opinion, but I'd trade the pick. I'd build that offensive line. All right, so I'd trade down to get one of these top offensive linemen in the draft while filling another hole or maybe adding some draft capital, whichever way, to maybe get another one of these. Because this is a deep class for offensive linemen. So that's what I would do. But we're talking about the Bears here. We're talking about the Bears. They got the number 1 pick. The number 1 pick, Bears. Obviously, a lot of teams probably want Caleb Williams. The Commanders, the Giants, the Falcons might be in that race. The Vikings might want to move on. The Saints might want to move on soon. The Seahawks might want a pick like that. Instead of Geno Smith, they have Caleb Williams. Maybe the Buccaneers decide it's time to move on from Baker Mayfield. Even though he's done great, is he really the quarterback of the future there? I don't know. I hope so, but I don't know. Maybe the Rams want to solidify their future after Stafford. Maybe the Chargers. No, not the Chargers. Maybe the Titans. Maybe the Jets want to solidify after Aaron Rodgers. Maybe the Broncos get their guy. There's a lot of teams. The Raiders. Okay, there's a lot of the Steelers. We're not done yet, apparently. There's a lot of guys, a lot of teams who would love to have Caleb Williams. Maybe even the Arizona Cardinals. I doubt it, but maybe even the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah. There are trade partners out there. And the one that I think would be the most intriguing would be the Seattle Seahawks or the Denver Broncos. One of those two teams that played in Super Bowl 49 or 48 or whatever it was. I think that's the move. I mean, they gave up on Russell Wilson, but they have a great defense. They have pieces. I don't know exactly what you have to give up to get this number 1 overall pick. Maybe you have to give up your pick. I don't even know if the Broncos have a pick. Let's see. We're gonna switch gears real quick here. We gotta get. Let's look up a mock draft here so we can maybe just go off that a little bit. NFL mock. Because I really like that idea now that I think about it. Let's go with Daniel Jeremiah here. Let me switch scenes. There we go. Okay. So, he has, and I don't know if this is trades included, but Daniel Jeremiah, at least, let me move myself. Let me go up here. Is taking Caleb Williams to the Chicago Bears. We've seen Justin Fields continue to improve, but I still believe that Ryan Poles' decision at number 1 overall, the most talented quarterback in the draft. I don't know. I'm a fan of Justin Fields. I think you let him ride it out. I think you showed enough at the end of the season to say, hey, I'm that guy. I know Caleb Williams is very tempting, but I think there's too many issues elsewhere for the Bears. Fill some other holes. Bolster that offensive line. Make that defense just a little bit better. Okay? Maybe get some more weapons outside of DJ Moore because they basically have no one. All right. So let's see. Do the Broncos have a pick? That was the question. The Broncos have the 12th pick. They do. Okay, where they draft Terrion Arnold, which I think is horrible because do they really? I think they would rather get a guy like Brock Bowers. I don't know. I don't watch a ton of college football, so I'm not the best when it comes to drafts. But yeah, I think. Yeah. No, I'm a fan of Brock Bowers. I think that would be a better pick for the Broncos. Arizona Cardinals landing Marvin Harrison Jr. would be a dream come true. I think that would be fantastic. This is awesome. Okay, so the Bears have the first overall pick. I think they could trade it to either the Broncos or the Seahawks. Get their pick next year, and something else. If that might be like a Cortland Sutton, maybe a what else? Maybe a Tyler Lockett, or a Jackson Smith and Jigba, or a DK Metcalf, any one of those receivers. Apparently I'm going really receiver friendly for the Bears here. I don't know. There's a lot of options that they could get. These teams do have talent on them already. They're just missing that quarterback, right? The Broncos really turned it on at the end of last season. They fell just short of the playoffs. So I think the Broncos would be a perfect team to trade with. Get a first-round pick this year. Get a first-round pick next year if the Broncos have one to trade. Get somebody else from the Broncos. I don't know. Maybe they're willing to give up a Pat Surtain for a Caleb Williams. So maybe you just get a pick this year and Pat Surtain. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. That's what I'm doing if I'm the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams is just worth so much that you trade him. You trade him because he's unproven. You have Justin Fields. I don't think you can be mad about that. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that's what we do. Especially where you have the 9 pick. You can get another, an edge rusher here. Maybe you grab one of the offensive tackles that are available, whether it be this Oregon State guy who I don't know who he is, or Joe Alt. That's who I was looking for, the kid from Notre Dame. I think there's a lot of options. I think the Titans are another team you could trade with. Maybe you get the 7 pick, and you do like a little. I guess sign and trade is really not an NFL thing, but you get yourself available for a DeAndre Hopkins or a, I don't know. I'm blanking on Tennessee players that are actually worth a darn right now. There's really not many of them. Really not many of them. The Giants could need a quarterback. Caleb Williams in New York could be a lot of fun. So maybe you get again, I'm blanking on decent Giant players. I mean, Sterling Shepard was good at one point. Maybe you get yourself him or one of the other thousands of receivers that they have. But, yeah, there's options. There's got to be options. I would love to see. I would love to be the Ryan Poles right now, the GM for the Bears, and be taking those calls and be like, yeah, what are you giving me? Like, I want to do a trade finder. Like in 2K, I want to do a trade finder for what this pick is worth. Because it's worth quite a bit. Everybody is super high on Caleb Williams, and I'm not sold on him personally. So, yeah, I want to trade this pick, and I want to see what kind of trades the Chicago Bears could bring in. And that's exactly what I would do. Especially when they have other opportunities. Because if they really want a quarterback, excuse me, if they really want a quarterback, they get at 9, they get a Bo Nix. In the second round, probably. Yeah, I'm not seeing it, unless I'm going too fast. Yeah, unless I'm going too fast, they get a J.J. McCarthy. They get a Malik, not Malik, what's his name? Michael Penix. Gosh. They get one of those guys. I think that could be a great evaluation and a great piece as well. So, yes, I'm trading this pick. I'm trading Caleb Williams for a pick this year, a pick next year, and a stud, if not a little bit more. I'm really excited to see what these trade packages are worth. But at the end of the day, we'll see. I'm excited. This is what, I'm usually more excited for the draft at this point because my Cardinals are higher up. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. would be a dream come true to the Cardinals. I like that a lot better than I like getting a quarterback. If one of these top 3 quarterbacks are still available and Marvin Harrison is not when it comes to the 4th pick, I feel like we got to trade down as well. Because I don't think it's worth grabbing Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze quite yet. I would like to try it down to the 8 or 9, 10 area. I don't think the Jets will trade because picking up an offensive tackle at 10 is a good look for them. The Falcons, I'm excited to see what they do. Bill Belichick has interviewed and has 2 interviews now done with the Atlanta Falcons. So if they blow a 2-0 lead, that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm just kidding. I just think Bill Belichick's going to be coaching the Falcons. It was good to see Antonio Pierce get his long-term deal from the Raiders. Still a lot of holes to fill, whether it be in, I want to say San Diego, but in L.A. with the Chargers, with Tennessee, I want to see what happens there. I mean, we still got a lot of coaching options still available, and I'm excited to see who goes where. Seattle's another big one, right? Who goes where? The draft goes where? Free agency is going to be crazy, so we're going to be talking about that a lot. But, yeah, I just wanted to do this little ramble. I wanted to talk some sports. I love spending my Saturday. This is unedited, uncensored, unfiltered. It's just my thoughts. It's just what I'm thinking about of the day, how I view the sports world right now. And so I hope you enjoyed. I hope you really did enjoy. I'm going to be doing this every Saturday. Really just trying to get my watch hours. So hopefully that can go up. I appreciate y'all spending your time with me. Run it up. But again, the main point of this is to start conversations. So take my thoughts. You heard them now for the past 55 minutes or so. Now I want you to respond. Give me some comments. Let's talk some sports up in here. That's my whole goal. I want to build a community of sports. All positivity around here. And we just love talking sports, man. So thank you so much for watching this far. You're a real one. If you made it 55 minutes with me, that's crazy. That's crazy. But we're going to be doing this every Saturday. So stay tuned. New videos coming out. New Madden videos. New 2K videos. New all kinds of videos. All right? So stay tuned. I appreciate you, fellas. Have a good weekend now and enjoy this playoff football. Again, let me know who's going to win.